welcome to the first ever episode of McSkelly Makes. Our first project in the series is going to be robots. So we'll start by showing you the materials and then the tools, and then we'll show you how it's made. So for this project you are going to require three types of material. The first material is the foam, which the robot is mainly made out of. The second material is the glue, and the third material is a piece of fabric, so you can cover over the eyepiece and no one can see inside. So the next thing I'm going to show you is the tools you're going to require to make this project. You're going to need a hammer, a rasp, a knife for a slide out blade, hole punches of various sizes, metal ruler, cutting board, a nylon board for punching onto, and some sandpaper. So we'll start with step one, which is cutting off all these little tabs along the side. So all you need to do, take your ruler, lay it out flat, take your knife, line it all up, simply run your knife along, and you want to do this on all the edges. The next step is to make the top of your robot head. Now, this wants to be slightly less width than your shoulders. So this one's pretty big and fits me pretty well. But as we have players with smaller shoulders, we're going to make one that's a little bit smaller. And to make the circle, we're just using the top of our wok. Take your lid, put it up into one of the corners, draw around it, and then take your knife and just cut it out. And there we have the top of our robot head. To make it easy, we lay out our foam circle, make a mark in the bottom and the middle, and a mark at the top, because we're going to use two sheets to make this, and run the extra edging around, and then just mark and cut with a knife. Next stage then is to take your ruler and put it on your mark, make sure it's level with the edge, cut a straight line, making sure to keep it at that 90 degrees, and you'll need to do that for both pieces you cut out earlier. So the next stage is to prepare our piece of foam for gluing. For that you'll need the rasp and the sandpaper. So this is going to be our top edge of the robot head, which is this bit right here. But to make sure it's nice and smooth and flat for gluing, we're going to need to take the edge off. By using your rasp, just smooth off all the bumps. Now this bit only needs to be smooth as thick as the foam is. So you only really need to take off about a centimetre and a half. Once you've taken most of the edge off with your rasp, take your sandpaper and just run your sandpaper over the edge. And the next step is to sand these edges to make sure they glue really well. And then you repeat the process on the other sheet. We'll also need to sand the edge around the circle. So the first part we're going to glue is this edge of this sheet to this edge of this sheet, making sure that the sanded edge is at the top here. We take our glue, and I have a glass container which you pour a little bit of glue into. You don't need too much. And then take off one of your rough cuts from earlier, put it in, and move it over. This wants to be a nice thin layer. Any excess just smoothed out, both the inside and outside. What we're going to do, we're going to start by gluing our top edges, because our bottom edge doesn't matter here because we're going to cut that later on. So as long as this bit's lined up with this bit here, we should be fine. So gently push them together, and they should glue together. You may need to give them a bit of force and a bit of wiggle. You flip them over, do the same on the outside. And you can use heavy objects just to help bind them together. It could be anything, it could be a hammer, just to calm your hand. I like to use a rolling pin because it's pretty weighty. So same as before, you need a little bit of glue, not too much. You take a bit of foam and just run it along the edge. So, our top glued, leave it aside for a second, and lay out our big sheet. We only need to put glue along the very top edge. So as width as that will be more than enough. Now all we need to do is set this aside for a few minutes. So, feels like just about dry. A little damp patch there. Smooth that in. I'll dry in a few seconds. To make it easier, I'm going to curl this up, and that should help keep the curve in place. So now we're ready. I'm going to do attempt again. There we are. Bit in this time. And it up. Give it a roll. Next stage is to glue these edges. You need to do both sides. So just like before, we need to, at this point, you should have one tube basically, all glued, both seams, around the top, should be pretty solid. So just like before, to make sure it glues well, we've reused our rasp and our sandpaper to smooth all this surface off. Then we'll flip it over, use a plate, and we need 3 eye holes. So same as before, take your knife, and just cut around each piece. And to make our middle, we'll use a bowl, a little bit smaller, and we take our pencil, run it round, the same as before, take your knife, and gently run it round, and make sure to keep the inside piece, because we can use that for other bits later. There we are. The next stage, we put our potholes on. And we're going to put them over our seams, so we can use these to reinforce, to make sure that these bits don't split at any point. So hold it up to roughly where the top of your head will be. Work out where your eyes will be, which will be about here. So what we'll do is mark that on, making sure that our porthole is right in the middle. And the next one will be there, and the other one will be there. So, with our portholes marked on, you take a knife, we need to cut each porthole out. And remember to keep these just like before, and just check your porthole will sit around there. So with our holes cut, our next process will be to cover it with the fabric. So to do that, what we'll need to do is lay the fabric out and make sure we put it so it fits within each of the foam rings. And all we need for that is a pair of scissors. And we need to make sure it's inside as well. And put it over the top. That'll hide our face. The next stage is to attach our fabric circles around our opening. And to do that, all we do, take one of our bit of foam from before and spread it around the outside of the hole. While the glue's still wet even, we simply switch it on. And we'll need to do that for each hole. So with our fabric glued in place, Our next step is to glue our rings over the top. Flip them over, give them a bit of a bend beforehand to make it easier, and then layer on the top. And you want to try and aim to line this hole up here with the hole that's on the inside. So we'll glue each one, because that'll give them each time to dry. Waiting for our glue to dry around our ring, what we're going to do is we're going to add this plate around about here. And by the look of it, these are now ready to have their plates glued on. Lift it up, give it a good squidge when you know it's in the right place. So we have our first one, our second one, and there it is. Our third one. Just go around again, make sure we're doing that. Put it on your table, roll it round, make sure they're really well and glued. Lay it nice and flat, because this will help reinforce it. Get it in the middle, squidge it. Our next step is to get our armholes in place. So to do that, put it to the side of you. Roughly work out where your head's going to sit compared to your shoulder. My shoulder's going to be about here. So nearly under the thing. And you want it about halfway. And just curve it down. Bring it round to the front. And take your knife. Start at the top. And work your way around. Should be able to then throw on your robot. And what we're going to work on now is this bit right here. So what we've taken is a circle, which came out of one of these. Now we've taken one of the other circles and cut the inside out of it. And we're going to glue it on like this to make some kind of pressure gauge in the middle. So, glue around the edge. All waiting for this bit to dry. We're going to take these strips that came off the side, flip them over, give them a good. We're going to use these to do the detail work around the edge. So now our glue's dried, and basically we'll line this up. A bit of a squidge. So the next thing to make is rivets to go around here. And for that, use my anvil, a cutting board, hammer, and a punch. So these bits left over from earlier, which have already been sanded on the back, we place these down, we knock them with a hammer. What we have are instant rivets. It said that I need 24 rivets, so I cut out 12, take a very sharp knife, and just cut them in half. So we have our front pretty much done, ready for painting and adding whatever we need, pictures of pressure gauges, things like that. But our back's looking pretty boring, so what we're going to add is a few cables and a boilerplate here in the middle. And to do that, we're going to use bits left over from the previous pieces. So I've got a few circles, it's pretty good. As you can see, this one's already been filed down, and we have some other bits that we filed down earlier, but I think for our boiler, this one should be big enough. So what we do, take our circle and change it into a square, so it looks like a boiler plate. So that looks pretty interesting. So if we add that on the back here, put some holes in it, that'll be our boiler. Put some rivets either side so it looks like it's holding on, and then we'll add some cables and wires to look like it's also got the electric bits going on. Here we have our boiler plate. What we're going to do, first of all, punch some holes in it. And we take our knife, and we cut down and that'll serve as our boiler on the back. Take a bit of sandpaper. Here's our robot. Here's our back panel. That should work pretty well. We've got our boiler plate glued up ready. Scrape the excess off there. That's about right. And we've got our thing ready here. Take our plate, pop it in the middle there, bend it down, give it a good switch. Okay, so what we're doing next is we're turning this into this. It's pretty simple. This is our spacer, this is our soldering iron. Lay it out, burn it in. When you've done the full length, you need to pick it up, gently burn into the side. Done. You just glue it into place. You can bend it, flex it round. You can see we've used it to create our power sword arm. And you basically use it for whatever you want. So we've added a few details in. We had our boiler plate already. We've added what looks like readout gauge here, and this is going to be our electrical box here. And we've got two bits of cabling to go to it. So punch out some big circles, put them on, rivets in the corners, and we'll burn our electrical mark. Much like this one right here. And then we're basically done.